Hey everybody, VP with Metaverse News One here with a video showing you how to buy land in Illuvium Zero in the most optimized fashion, because now is the absolute best time on earth to do it. If you have not bought land yet but want to, or if you're looking to add on to the land you have, there's a perfect storm going on right now, and you have by far the best opportunity to buy land in a game that is most likely going to succeed. Now, I need to qualify myself first. That's why the title is the title of this first slide, because of what I'm about to say later. So, if you guys don't know me already, I've been an investor for about 15 years. I've been trading for almost 15 years, and I've been in everything from currencies to stocks to metals and crypto. Bought crypto for the first time in 2020. It was Bitcoin. It was at 8,600. Bought Ethereum at 280. I was in Cardano around 9-10 cents. And you want to call BS on me, go right ahead. All of this is documented because I host an investing podcast where I'm very transparent about all the crypto moves I make. Podcast is called the 10-Minute Contrarian Podcast. You can hear it on YouTube on my main channel, No Nonsense Forex, or you can just catch it on any podcast player. It's on all of them. And we have done really well on that podcast, mainly because as far as investing goes, we take a very long-term approach. It's what rich people do, so why wouldn't we? Just because we might have less money than rich people do doesn't mean the rules don't apply to us any different. Smart is smart, and a long-term outlook is extremely smart. We find things that have asymmetrical upside, we do the research, and if we believe in them, we invest. And then we either DCA if it goes down or we buy on dips if it goes up. It doesn't have to be that hard, but a lot of people make it hard. And the crypto market is full of these people because they don't know what they're doing because they just don't have the experience yet. The good thing about the crypto market is you can get a lot of reps in and get a lot of experience in a very short amount of time. But that still doesn't mean you know what you're doing. You need a lot of experience, and that experience just comes with time. But these people almost never play the long game. They have very little long-term conviction. They just want what's going to make them money as fast as possible. And usually they can't afford to wait very long. So that's why they don't have long-term conviction, because they over-leverage. They get in way too much into a project, and what does that do? Well, not only is it bad risk, but it also makes you way too emotional. I have another podcast called the Trading Psychology Podcast, and I've even written a trading psychology book because it's so important, because emotions are the destroyers of wealth. And I sit here and spend every episode showing people how to not let emotions get into the way of their trading. You think it would be simple. You'd think I'd only have to say it one time. But no, I don't. I have to say it every single episode. And it still happens to most people. Because of this emotion and because of this inexperience, these are the people who buy at the top and sell at the bottom. And what are we seeing right now with Illuvium land? Oh my God, the first month of mainnet didn't go my way. Therefore, even though I've waited for years with this land I'm holding, I'm going to go ahead and sell it now? It's like this could very well be at or near the bottom. And then, of course, on Discord, they have to let you know about it. So not only are they a really bad investor who doesn't know what they're doing, they want the whole world to know about it. Do not get caught up in this FUD. Understand who these people are, and understand that if you want to make money, you want to be the opposite of these people. So these things aren't happening for no reason. Let's talk about what's actually going on, because we need to get this out in the air. Now, I called this on Discord, maybe on this channel too, many, many times. I said, guys, get ready for a slow start. There's a lot of anticipation. There's a lot of excitement, but that doesn't mean great things are going to happen right away, especially because the entire sector is not hot right now. It was hot for a minute back in January when Alex Becker was talking about it, and I even said back then that he was too early. I think Web3, if I had to put a time on it, really starts getting going in like the middle of 2025 probably. And this is just what you have when you're first to market. We're probably a bit too early. A game of this magnitude shouldn't be coming out before all the other ones, but that's what we got. And I think it's going to be a good thing down the road. But early on it's not, because nobody is excited about the space. And as a result, the early numbers aren't what people had hoped for. You see it in the fuel prices in Overworld. And so again, because the first month didn't please certain people, they are going to go ahead and sell at the bottom. Even though the one biggest hurdle we had as investors was the question of if this game was even going to come out or not, that's already been answered. It's out. But because the first month things weren't going these people's way. They sold land. Good for us. At the end of the day, investing is nothing more than the transfer of money from people who don't know what they're doing to people who do know what they're doing. And that's not even to say that I'm right about this project. We could all be wrong. But investing in the transfer of money does not exist in a vacuum. If you believe in this project, and there's really no reason not to believe in this project, in my opinion, there is no better time to buy land in Illuvium Zero than right now. Because let's also not forget the positive side of things. Most of this game isn't even out yet. I know it's a very ambitious project, and there's a lot of spokes to the wheel, and we don't know how many of those spokes are actually going to materialize. But there's going to be so many improvements on top of this, improvements to Gauntlet and Arena and Overworld and Zero. This game is not going to look anything like it does now 1 year from now. Certainly not 2 years from now. And if you don't like the way certain things are right now and you want to make your voice heard, you can do that. It's decentralized. Put out IIPs. Get them voted on. You know, some of them go through. But just because we're out on mainnet now doesn't mean the whole thing's out. We're not even halfway there. We're not even halfway there in the overworld. We still have 4 lands that haven't come out yet. 4 regions. And on top of that, they haven't even started to advertise. They have the affiliate program out, which I'm a part of, by the way. If you'd like to join Illuvium for the very first time, I have an affiliate link down at the bottom if you'd like to click on it. It's totally free, costs you nothing, helps support the channel. But they have a huge advertising budget and a huge committee dedicated to advertising, and we haven't even really seen anything they've been able to do yet, and they haven't even really gotten started yet. This is a long-term project, so we actually want to grow slowly. You know who didn't? Axie Infinity. You know what's barely a game anymore? Axie Infinity. The team knows this, and the team also has plenty of money. And if we're to ever run out, there are still lots and lots of VCs out there who are very interested in this space. And if I was a VC, I would rather invest something that I know actually exists as opposed to something that may not even go all the way to completion, something that could rug. No, I mean, give me something that's out. Give me something that looks good, and it's an awesome game, because Illuvium is. And it's only uphill from here. The price of land should have done nothing but go up, but it didn't. It went the opposite. And this is a crazy, crazy opportunity to either buy for the first time or to add on to what you already have. So here is, in my opinion, the best ways to buy land. I'm going to say it again. Have a long-term approach. Do not make the mistake that a bunch of people just got done making. And if the price of land goes down from here, it doesn't matter. It's still cheap right now, and cheap is cheap. How many times have you missed out on something because you were waiting for lower prices and those lower prices never came? How many times did you miss out on opportunities because you wanted cheaper prices, but you didn't set a line at where you were actually going to buy? And so things just never got cheap enough in your mind, and then eventually price took off without you. I'm telling you, there's a perfect storm going on right now. Not financial advice, but I don't think you want to miss out. You also have to decide, too, are you going to be a fuel factory or not? You can make money selling fuel, but you're going to need to produce a lot of it. And that's going to take probably a tier 3 land or above. Now, those are more expensive. Now, if you're more interested in doing what we're doing here on the channel, and what a lot of my videos are dedicated to, and that is blueprints and skins. Because whether or not there's any interest in those things right now, we have no idea, but it's not about right now. It's about the future. Well, then tier 1 and tier 2 lands, and as many of those as you can possibly put together, are going to be your best way to go. And as anybody who's played Illuvium Zero up until this point can probably tell you, if you need to spend a little bit more money, if you need to break out an extra $20, $30 for Christ's sakes on a tier 1 to get all 3 resources, you need to do that. Okay, so here we are on one of my tier 2 lands, is Taiga Boreal, and this is by far my top level land out of the 8 that I have. Now, the reason why that is 2 reasons. One, I got a head start on this one because it was the only land I played for an entire day. You guys saw the video on that. And 2, I have all 3 resources, which makes everything so much easier and so much better and so much faster. I have hydrogen, silicon, and carbon. And that's really nice because you can get converters, and I have converters here because sometimes I need a boost here and there. But if you look at the converters, if I want to convert carbon, it's not even a one-to-one exchange until I really, really over-optimize it. But even if it was a one-to-one exchange, you still have to take from one to make another. If you just had the resources, you don't have to take anything. It's already done. You can just go plus, 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 instead of going a minus just to get a plus. And a lot of times that plus isn't even one-to-one. Does that make sense? You can't convert without already taking away from resources that you've already created. It's just not a great situation. So if you have a land, especially, so you can see I have 2 Solon converters here, and Solon converters need silicon. If my only source of silicon on here was converters, that would really be an uphill battle. That would be an uphill battle for as long as I own this land. I have a couple plots of land because, like I said, I didn't have all this information in front of me when I bought. It's a tier 1 land, and the only fuel site I have on it needs a converter to feed it because I don't have an actual pump, or whatever you call these things, extractor, for the resource it needs. It really sucks, I'm telling you. Spend a little bit of money early on so you can avoid this. And I would take it one further. Now, this is going to cost more, but if you can also find a land that gives you, like if you're going to buy a tier 2, find a land that gives you all 3 fuel sites. Like this one doesn't have Hyperion, but if I could go 1-1-1, I would, because look at this. I got a scanner, but it constantly needs fuel to scan. In the beta, it needed resources. Now it needs fuel. And this is going to be what creates the biodata that makes blueprints. And it is constantly going to need not just fuel, but all 3 different types of fuel. So again, regardless of what type of land you're looking at, make sure you have all 3 resources there on that land from the start. You may still need converters of some sort to help you out, but at least converters won't be your only source of that resource. It's just a miserable experience. On that note, if you're going above tier 1, if you can at all help it, try as best you can to get all 3 fuel sites as well, for really the same reasons as this here, but also what I just showed you with those scanners. You don't want to have a land with no Solon, so you need a converter to take away a lot of your Krypton just to create Solon. It's not a good exchange. It is so much more optimal if you're not robbing Peter to pay Paul on your own land. So given what we know now, you're already getting cheaper prices. You're actually even getting cheap Ethereum now because we just had a drop. You have the luxury to spend a little more money now for a ton of speed, convenience, and efficiency from now on. I would strongly consider that. And then if you can, this is more of a luxury at this point, but I guess more so in tier 1 than anything. Tier 2, this is going to be hard. But if you're going to play the blueprint game, make sure, if it's between 2 lands, the tiebreaker to me would be to buy the land that gives you the most room and extra space, because scanners like room and extra space. And they work a lot more efficiently when they have it. So let's go to the Illuvidex and I'll show you what I mean. So here we are, and 0.11 ETH, that is as low as I have ever seen it. But again, do you want this land right here with only carbon and literally nothing else? Probably not. So what you want to do is go to Element, and really all you need to do is just go to 1 here. Those of you who use the Illuvidex, you know how this is not the most efficient thing in the world, and then just go 1 more lake. Because if a tier 1 plot has 1 of each of those, the 3rd one is going to be the other one. Oh, scratch that. That's wrong. I'm thinking on Token Trove it is. On this one it's not. You actually have to tell it, I want 1 of each. Or else it will think minimum of 1. So I'm glad that happened. Now let's let things populate. And as you notice, things have gone up a little bit from 0.11 ETH to 1.3 ETH. That is not a big jump. I'm telling you, for the convenience you are about to get, this is fine. And so now it really comes down to where you want your land, because depending on the land you choose, there is an increased chance that certain types of alluvials are going to fly by and you're going to capture them and capture their biodata. So we've done videos on that in the past. Maybe this matters to you, maybe it doesn't. If you're just looking for pure efficiency, Crystal Shores is actually a good one because it's really diversified in terms of what alluvials are going to come by. It's not like nature and water heavy like Abyssal would be, or air heavy like Taiga would be. You know, Crystal Shores, you get a lot of different possibilities coming by. So something like this is really good, because not only are you getting everything, you're getting a lot of space for scanners, which is great. That's going to be the primary use for your tier 1 land over time. So something like this is good, something like this is good, something like this is not bad, but less good than what you would see here. And so that's going to be your best way to play it. Now, if you want to look for tier 2, you actually, you want to keep the elements where they are, because again, these are minimums. So that's perfect. We'll keep this where it is. Move on to tier 2. And here we are. Now, for fuel, you want to do the same thing. Let's go back. I want to see just what the cheapest tier 2 land is. I think it's 0.33 ETH. 0.35. Okay. So again, really, really good price. Let's see how much more we pay if we get all 3 fuel sites. Okay, so I set the elements to 1 apiece, and I set the fuel to 1 apiece. So that's going to jack up the price a bit. Now, you have to decide if it's worth it or not. I would say it is. I mean, I'd just buck up and do it, man. You know, best case scenario, you're going to have this land 4 or 5 years, maybe more. You know, spending a little bit now to get so much more later, I think is worth it. And then in a plot of land like this, not only do you have everything you need, you seem to have some ample space for scanners as well. I really like that. Really, really like that. A plot like that, bunch of room too. Now, of course, you're paying more. The price really starts going up at certain points. And honestly, I don't think it's necessary unless you really like the plot for some reason. You're going to get just as much output here and here as you will in land at twice the value. So I'm not sure how many people are watching this, but you might want to get in there and scoop these things up. I hope you understand the reason why I think it's a really good time to do it. And I hope now you better understand what to look for in a plot of land if you're buying for the first time. You not only have so much more information in front of you now, you get to learn from our mistakes. You get to hear people like me say, if I were to do this all over again, this is how I would do it. So if all of these things don't compel you to buy right now, there's not much I can say. But if you do buy, welcome to the Illuvium Zero family. And I'll be making plenty of more Illuvium Zero videos right here on Metaverse News One.